There we go. Perfect. Here we are. Here we are. This is where we left off, my friends. And again, as I was mentioning, I'm really happy that we can go back here and play a little bit more with this character. Because I've mentioned this before. It's not the same thing to do 3D for fun that it is to do it for work. Sometimes when it's for work, you need to be a little bit more like focused on making sure you do things right, and you don't get to have as much fun. It's still fun, but it's always a good thing. Or it's always cool when we can focus a little bit more here. Let me change the material. I feel like that material is... Yeah, let's go basic material for this one. I think that's a little bit bright, right? You like that one? Hey, Core, what's up, my friend? Happy to catch your live stream. Yeah, we're welcome, man. And you catched a very nice live stream because we got a couple of surprises. So yeah. What do you use to clean your tablet with screen? Because mine is also a bit dirty. So there's this like electronics, and I'm gonna be doing a freaking commercial now. There's this electronics store here in Mexico that I love going. It's like one of my favorite places. It's called Steden. And it just says like universal screen like cleaner. It's the solution. It cost me like, I don't know, $3 or something like that. And then just like a microfiber. That's it. Like nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. Like it's like Windex pretty much. Yeah. Like I know Windex is a very famous like a brand. Saurav says I have a doubt about hair cards. Yeah, man. Like go for it. We back to this fine art after weeks. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. So should we tell them, Sarn? I'm not sure. Do you think they need to know right now? Do you think they should know at this point what we got prepared for them? Because we got a little surprise here. But I don't know. Should we let them wait a little bit? Hassan is asking, when is what day is portfolio review? Portfolio review is usually at the end of the year. Look at that. Listen to that. No, that's ridiculous. No, at the end of the month. At the end of the month, we usually do our portfolio review, Hassan, and the submissions open a couple of days before that on our Discord channel. So if you're not on the Discord, make sure to join, because that's where we're going to be publishing that kind of stuff. We got Bird Silvertongue says, hello, Eve, and everyone. Looking forward to get a chance to watch your live for once. Yeah, welcome, my friend. Well, so if you guys didn't know about this, we recently released our newest course, which was the Marmoset course, right? We released the Marmoset course, the Marmoset Toolbag course. It's our 10th course. That was very interesting because I was not counting. And when we published, it's like, oh, this is now the 10th course. So this one right here is our newest course on the site, the Mastering Marmoset Toolbag 5. It's a let's say condensed version of all of the information that you need for Marmoset. It's not like some of our other courses where we have one project and we work on that project for the whole thing. It's multiple small projects where I teach you all of the different tools that you can use for or within Marmoset, right? Things like baking, texturing, rendering, how to set up materials, camera, compositions, animations, environments. Like there's so many things. 6 chapters right here, almost 9 hours of content. So it's a very cool one. But here's the thing. When we published this, we got a little like a message from our friends at Marmoset. They sent us a message. They're like, hey, we saw you just released a course and it looks freaking good, so we want to, collaborate. Can we do that? It's like, sure, of course. Like the more the merrier, right? So we got a very nice gift by our friends at Marmoset, and today we are going to be having a couple of giveaways to, of course, send that gift to you, my friends. And the first gift is the following. We have a 1-year complete license, 12 months of subscription for 2 winners, okay? So today we're gonna have 2 winners who are gonna be getting a 1-year full subscription to Marmoset Toolbag 5 for all of their uses. Believe me, if you have 1 year, you can learn every single thing about the software. It's more than enough time to take all of your portfolio pieces through the software, present them in the best possible way, and just learn a lot of the tools that you have within it, okay? So, Sarn, how are we going to be doing that, my friend? Are we going to be doing it traditionally in Discord with our little giveaway, like, dynamic? There we go. Yeah, that's it. So, Franny here is our very, very nice friend from Marmoset, and if you guys have any questions about how to set up their tool bag, you can ask her as well. Yeah, we got several people from the Marmoset team on our Discord as well. Their Discord is also very, very cool, so you might want to join it as well. But yeah, Franny, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for this collaboration. So we are going to be preparing the giveaway, my friends, and let me explain how this works. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Let's go to our server, and we're gonna go to here. Okay. So here's how it works, my friends. For those of you that it's their first giveaway here on the channel, you need to join the Discord. David is going to be here helping you guys if it's the first time you're joining. And once you get access to the Discord, you're going to see here on the notice board this events tab right here. And in just a second, or in a couple of minutes, we are going to have the, the element right here. So there's going to be a little like party popper thingy that you need to click on. And by clicking, you get like enrolled into the raffle. And after 30 minutes, we're going to have the winner, okay? So we're going to do that 2 times today. We're going to do that 2 times. And then we're going to do a third giveaway. And this is from us, from the Leal 3D team here. We're going to be giving away 1 free course of your choosing. So you can win the Marmoset course as well. You can pick any of the other courses, but we're going to be giving that away. So today we're going to have 3 giveaways. It's going to be a cool stream. Hopefully we're going to be learning a lot of stuff here as well with sculpting. And yeah, so get ready for that, my friends. As soon as David tells me that we are ready there, we are going to be able to start that first giveaway. And again, Franny, thank you very much. Thank you to the Marmoset team for this amazing gift to the community here. I'm sure a lot of people are going to benefit from that price, and we're going to be seeing some very, very cool, awesome renders and awesome textures coming from Marmoset. So yeah, there we go. Let's see, we got a couple of questions here. Ave, like when I use Gizmo, the ZBrush crashes. Any solutions? Try to update it. I'm not sure if it might be a little bit of an issue there with the version, but yeah, try to update your ZBrush. I'm not sure if that might be the first or the main problem. Okay, I want to do a little bit of hard surface here, especially with this or like chest area, right? We already have a basic idea of what we want to do, but we definitely need to start cleaning things up and start generating more like I think we can generate a little bit more variation on the planes of the whole thing. So let's start here with this. I think it's called the gullet or something like that. Oh, and by the way, at this point, right, you can now jump into Discord, and here's the little thing. So again, go to the Discord channel, go to the notice board events, and here's the giveaway bot. Click on this little thing. I'm not gonna click because then imagine if I win it, no one's gonna believe it, then I'm gonna get canceled or something. But no, just go in here, click there, and you can get a whole year of Marmoset Toolbag 5 for free. It was funny, Franny, because yesterday someone commented on one of the shorts that I uploaded. I was talking about the bakes, right? The amazing bakes. Like, you guys have such an amazing baking tool here inside of Marmoset 5. And I was talking about that, and he was like, oh, yeah, it's very cool, but it's a shame that there's no Udemy support. It's like, well, we now have Udemy support, right? There's now Udemy support on Marmoset. So that's very, very, very cool. I really need to try that. I mean, my graphics card's a little bit old. I need to update it soon. But I need to try and see how far I can push that Udemy like baker. But yeah, we now have Udemy supports. So masks are going to be one of your best friends for like hard surface stuff, because with masks, one of the things that we're going to be able to do, as someone was mentioning just a couple of seconds ago, is we can use the gizmo and, for instance, scale this thing in. See that? And that's going to give me the idea of how we want this like hard surface like effect to be happening. So it's kind of like an indent like element right here. As you can see, and this is my personal preference, when I'm doing hard surface, I always like to start with a very sort of like low poly mesh, just to get the general idea of the silhouette and the shapes, the positive shapes, the negative shapes of the hard surface element. And once I'm happy with this, then we can start like increasing the Dynamesh resolution and, for instance, turning on polish so that we can start seeing how this thing is actually going to look. Remember that hard surface is one of those things that requires time, right? Well, pretty much everything in 3D requires quite a bit of time. But hard surface is one of those things that if you really want to get like razor sharp edges, razor sharp effects, you really need to push things like quite heavily, okay? So keep that in mind. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, no, Udemy are amazing. How are you doing with your allergies? They're killing me today. Today it's not too bad, but a couple of days ago it was horrible, man. How does Marmoset compare to Substance? Can we paint textures in Marmoset, or are we? Yeah, no, you can do everything inside of Marmoset. So if you're looking for an option where you can bake texture and render your stuff, like Marmoset is the go-to like software, I would say. Because I like Substance, you know, we don't have any grudge against them or anything. We love all of the softwares here in this channel. But one thing that they don't have is a good presentation suite. Like the iRay stuff, I don't know. It to me feels very, very outdated. So I don't like using iRay. And we've talked about this before. There are some portfolios where people like submit their stuff with iRay, and it just looks like so CG, so ugly. So I don't particularly like iRay. And here's where I definitely think Marmoset has the upper hand. Like, presentation is just so freaking good. There we go. Let's see. A good hair system would be amazing. When to use hair card for realistic character? Oh, hair cards sort of can be used for both. Like, I've seen like game characters using hair cards that looks extremely realistic. Have you seen the latest Monster Hunter? It looks really good. I really like what they did with the hair on the new game. And it's just yeah, it's just a very like nice result. But usually if you want the most realistic effect, you're gonna be using hair cards. The only problem with hair cards is that hair cards require quite a bit of like performance, right? Like you're gonna be doing very heavy renders or very heavy scenes. Even for instance, when you're doing animation, like you're doing feature animation, you know, Disney, Pixar, that kind of stuff, animators will usually animate the characters without the hair. There's a whole department that is in charge of doing the hair systems. So the animations are done first. Pretty much the characters look bald, and once the animation is ready, then the groom artists come in and they will place the hair and make sure it moves as nice as possible with the animation. Hawk says, help, please, nowadays, be a specialist or a generalist. What do you think? That's a great question. And again, my answer has always been, it depends on what you want, right? If you want to be working in big projects, usually you are going to go the specialist route. Because for big projects, people want to usually hire the best of the best in each specific area, right? If you want to do smaller projects, indie stuff, or in a smaller studio, it might be better for you to be a generalist because you're going to be able to contribute to more stuff in general, okay? Let's see. Hey, 3D Mania, what's up, my friend? Hello, and welcome. Give me 1 second here, guys. Oh, just need to check something real quick. Okay, got a notification, but I'm not sure if it was something important. I don't think so for now. There we go. Okay, so we got this thing right here, and I like it. I think that's definitely looking a little bit cleaner. Of course, we're gonna be doing like some sort of like boolean or something to cut it out from the rest of the chest, right? Because we want to make sure that these lines look as nice and as clean as possible, following like the contour of the chest plate. So we don't want this thing to just overlap. It's gonna be like a combination of both elements. And this is one of the questions that I get asked quite often by my students, especially when they're starting. It's like, do I need to model everything as a single piece? Do I need to sculpt everything as a single piece? And the answer is no. You can separate things into multiple elements or into multiple pieces, and just like either bake them down into a single element. We did that actually on the helmet for the course, or you can just like what's the word? You can just retopologize each individual piece separately. Like, not everything has to be watertight mesh. If you're doing 3D printing, that's a different story. But for those kind of cases, we follow a different kind of process. Shuban says, I'm eagerly awaiting your environment course. Can you please tell us what all we're going to learn in it? Well, as I mentioned before, Sofam, the environment course suffered a little bit of a delay because the amount of information that I want to like convey in that course requires me to build a lot of different assets to prepare them. Let me give you an example, right? Like, we already know that the theme of the course, we're going to be doing this sort of like medieval, old graveyard scene. I need to do tombstones, right, for the decoration. But each tombstone's taking me like 4 hours to do. And if I just do 2 variations of the tombstone, it looks very ugly. So I want to do like 6 or 7 variations of tombstones. So I need to invest at least like 25, 30 hours on doing all of the different tombstones. I'm not going to record the process for all of them because it's going to be like a massive course. So I show you how to do one, and then I do all of the other ones. And in that process of doing all of the other ones, that's the time I'm missing. So between my work, my classes, the streams, the channel, and everything else, it's been difficult to be able to find time to build all of those assets that I need to really showcase that that final thing. So I am working on it. I'm actively like thinking about how to properly like convey again all of the information, but it's gonna take a while, and I don't want to bring your hopes up. It's hopefully gonna be coming out this year, but it's not going to be like in the next couple of months. We might have other courses before that, and in the meantime, I'll keep on working on all of the assets that I need for that particular element. Okay, so hopefully that clarifies it. Anthony says, I saw your last video. I recommend to everyone see it, but now I have a question. When you talk about the noob, you said something about 1 year or 2 years of work, but you mean on an industry or training by yourself? I mean training by yourself, but usually in the industry as well. Like when you get into a studio, if they give you, let's say, the junior role, you're usually going to be on that role for around 2 years. After 2 years, you're just going to be like a normal. So it's going to be like junior modeler, and then 3 years roughly as a modeler, 2-3 years as a modeler, and then you jump into senior modeler. But as I mentioned on the video, seniority or the time you've been doing something not always correlates with the expertise that you have. There's people who have way less time and they're very freaking proficient, and there's people who have a lot of time and the proficiency is not exactly there, or they might have some very like outdated ways to do certain things, right? So yeah, keep that in mind. Your last video is fantastic. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah. I think those kind of videos are missing sometimes. Like we focus too much on the technical side of things here inside of the softwares, right? Like on making sure that we get something that looks cool and everything, but we forget that at the end of the day we're humans, and there's a human factor to everything, and the learning process. What else? Actually, let me turn off the hair here for just a second. The learning process, how to pick a project, all of those things that are also important. Again, we sometimes forget about those. Okay, so this is an important like example here, guys. So one thing that you might be able to see here is that the cape was sort of like obscuring this back part of this like neck piece right here. So we need to also think about how this neck piece is going to connect back here. A lot of people, especially when doing characters, they forget about the back parts of their characters. And that's a big no-no. See how this thing is like overlapping the head right there? Like we definitely need to consider how this thing is actually going to be attaching to the back part of this character's head, because otherwise it's not going to make sense. And in this particular game, for instance, we're going to be seeing this character from the back more than we're going to be doing it from the front. Like the enemies, right, the other players, they're going to be seeing it from the front, but for us as players, we're going to be seeing it from the back a little bit more. So we definitely want to make sure that we follow the same sort of like design principles or design, or say I often say shape languages, right? Everywhere, front and back. So if we have this sort of like sharp triangular look, I'm gonna try to go for that sharp triangular look here on the back as well. And then here we can just add some like section lines or something. Again, this section lines we're probably gonna be replacing later on, but I just want to make sure that it looks like interesting enough. I actually feel like that's a little bit too much. I'm going to accelerate this shape. When I talk about acceleration, that's an interesting note. When I talk about acceleration, I talk about how steep the lines of the silhouette are. And you might have heard me say this quite a bit, for instance, in characters. Because in characters, when you're doing muscles, for instance, there's always certain like angles that we need to be like careful about. So for instance, right now, this angle right here on the front of this like a neck piece is very steep, right? It's like a 45-degree angle. So it to me feels like a very accelerated like angle. It looks very intense. This one looks a little bit too round. So if we want to keep the same sort of like shape language, we need to push this in so that we get a nicer like or a cleaner sort of like more straight angle right there that accelerates the whole thing. Hope that makes sense. Let's see. Saying, I'm working on a project where the main focus is on a worn leather book. I've modeled the base shape, but do you have any tips or best brushes to worn damaged items? Yes, I usually use the basic brushes. It's more about the layers of the element, but you can try using this one. It's called the Trim Smooth Border. This one's very good to do like damage. See that? So it sort of like eats away from the border very like organically while still leaving a couple of planes. And I really like this one for doing like rocks or leather damage or like again like bite marks or whatever. It gives like a very, very nice effect. You can find that one on the brushes. So if you go to Lightbox and then brushes and you go to the trim brushes, it's this one right here, trim smooth border. Okay, so that's the one that I like using for that kind of damage. Let's see. Oh, we have a cool question here by a first-time chat, Slowy Flowing for H2O. Will you make a video on rock cloth fringes and how to make them game ready for a character? I'm working on a character that has those and I don't know how to make them. So what do you mean by game ready? Because if you have like fringes like in a dress or things like that, you're usually going to need to have a lot of topology. Like it's normal, it's expected to have that kind of topology because the silhouette is changing quite intensely. And remember guys, I know I've mentioned this before, yes, retopology is important, yes, polygons are important, but there is a little bit of a shift in the industry nowadays where topology count is not as impactful. Like graphics cards, processors, all of these things, they can handle like a lot of polygons without that much of a deal. It's usually in textures. So what you would like to do, or what I would suggest you do on that particular asset, my friend, is make sure you use something like a trim sheet so that all of the fringes or all of those like little borders share the exact same texture. And that way you can get a very nice resolution without impacting the performance too much, okay? Okay, let's add a little bit of a border here. There we go. And again, on the back, we have nothing, right? So we have some cool like lines and trims here on the front, but on the back, we have absolutely nothing. So I'm going to follow this is very common, right? Like following sort of like the border of the armor. So I'm just going to sketch this right here. Let's stop right there. And then usually this is a nice thing, and this is something that I learned actually from did you guys ever see that show Ink Master, which is like this reality show for like tattoo artists? It's a very cool one. I don't remember what channel it used to air at, but here in Mexico, where was it? I don't know if it was one of like the common channels, but yeah, Ink Master, very, very cool show. Yeah, I think it was in Sky. Yeah. So if you've never seen it, like look it up. It should be like on Netflix or on YouTube or something. It's a reality show with tattoo artists, right? And it's very cool. And one thing that they like are super intense about is the shapes or the lines, the design of your tattoos should follow the shape of the body, like the natural forms of your body. So if I add, for instance, a line that does this right here, it looks very weird. Why does it look weird? Because it's not flowing with the direction of the trapezius. However, if I add like a line right here, it does flow a lot nicer with the forms of, in this case, the female silhouette or the female anatomy, right? So it's that's why, again, knowing anatomy is so important, because you can use that to really figure out how you want to create the sort of like pattern lines or elements. So I'm using that sort of like principle here to do something similar. There we go. I think that looks interesting. Now, the cool thing about this section lines is I'm just having them as placeholders, because eventually on the, eventually on the texturing stage, we can actually do this without them. And actually, let me show you something, because this is quite cool. Let me see if I still have the... I'll show it to you with, which is like a simple element. So now... That way we can showcase a little bit of the price, right? Let's see. By the way, we got 14 minutes left for the price, guys. You can go into Discord, and we're giving away, thanks to our friends at Marmoset, we're giving away a 1-year license for Marmoset Toolbag 5. So make sure to jump to the events section and enter the giveaway. So if I go here, let me generate a primitive, and I'm going to generate a plane. There we go. So we got a plane, right? And one thing that's very common, especially when we're doing armor or things like that, is we want to create a material. Let's say this is going to be like a metal material. So let's make this metallic. There we go. Texture project. That's going to be it. There we go. Now let's go to the texture scene. Awesome. So let's say I grab, I don't know, some sort of like metal, like this one, aluminum corroded. So I'm just going to drag and drop it. There we go. So we have this sheet of metal, right? And let's say we're working with this inside of, let me add some lights here real quick. Light 1. There we go. There we go. That's what I mean. Awesome. Look at that texture. So good. So if we're inside the ZBrush and we're like debating, it's like, oh, should I add my section light right there? Should I add it in somewhere else? It just, and then you bake it, and then you texture it, and then you show it to your client, or you show it to your art lead, and they're like, oh no, you know what? Like, that's not where we want the whole thing. Like, we want the line somewhere else. That's why it's very important to work in a more sort of like procedural approach. And here inside of Marmoset, we have this very cool thing called vector layers. So vector layers are literally a layer that we can use vectors are curves, to draw a specific like pattern, right? Something like that. And use that pattern, for instance, to push the height information, the bump in this case, in or out. See that? We can change the color. We can even change the profile of the element. So that's the default. Let me use this one that's a little bit more intense, like the groove. Or I'm going to use this one that's a groove V panel. There you go. So see that? So we're creating this directly on the element. And that, of course, can then change to like a dark color. And the cool thing is we can edit this. So if we want to change things, we can move the points around. So imagine we have the full like chess piece, right? And it's just flat, like smooth and whatever. We can draw all of the section lines and like dynamically change and alter how they're going to look, right? So all of these lines that I'm drawing right here, these are just placeholders. Eventually, when I do the retopology, it's just going to be a smooth plate. And then I'm going to draw all of these lines and dynamically like create them. That saves me two things. First of all, it allows me to like explore and see where I really want to have the lines. And second of all, if I don't like the lines, I can change them. I can move them. I can remove them. It's like very like again, like useful. We can do a couple more things. Look at this. I love this little thing right here. Smooth corners. Awesome, right? So we can select and have like hard edges, and then we can have some like smooth corners right here as well. That's pretty cool. Let's like smooth that one, for instance, there a little bit. And at any point, we can, again, like move the points, right? So we can like position the point somewhere else and just like generate something interesting. So those are called vector layers. Very powerful tools here inside of Marmoset. And as you can see, they are procedural. So at any point, if you don't like them, that's fine. We just turn them off. So they do not exist unless we have them as an active layer. In this case, we can set this to something like multiply, for instance, lower the opacity, and that can... Oh yeah, one more thing that was mentioned. One very important thing is when we do bakes, if you have very like high pixelation, that pixelation is being baked down, right? So we would need to go really high on subdivision level to be able to create that specific element. But in this case, everything happens in the texturing stage. So it's, again, very easy to do. Let's see. Yeah, so if you are on the Discord channel, you need to go here, guys. Like, you might be, if you're just joining the Discord, don't worry, you're probably in the waiting room. David's gonna give you access in just a second, and you need to go here to events, and here on the giveaway bot, just click on this little thing right there. Just click on that little guy right there, events tab, and react to the emoji. But even if we're gonna be adding those lines again later on the texturing stage, it's a good idea to have at least an idea of where this thing is going to be. Now, yesterday I was looking at some guy on LinkedIn, and he recommended using this one right here. Hey, there you go. Thanks for the sub, Marto. Thank you, and everyone for the follow. I completely blacked out there. Robin, Inveins, Makumshimu, Epico69, Victor Flores, Ali Rezar, Slowly Flowing, all of you guys, Stelkai, Wagner, Vorn, thank you guys, thank you for the follow. Hello, Blaylur, hello. Yeah, you bake those, like that vector thing, it gets exported into a map, and it's on your texture. So I'm gonna go here to M, to the material. I'm just gonna say color, fill object, so that when we go back to our basic material, yeah, that looks better. So I'm gonna be adding this metal 1 material to all of the metal bits and pieces. Color, let's go here, color, fill object, this one as well, color, fill object. This is a little tip that I saw yesterday, someone was sharing on LinkedIn, and he's like, oh yeah, when I'm doing my sculpting, I like to add like basic colors, like what we have right here, but I also like to add basic materials, just so that I get an idea of like the process that we're following, right? Like just to imagine, sort of like imagine how this thing is going to look. I feel like this color is a little bit too dark. So let's now fill the color. There we go. Color, fill object. and color fill out. There we go. So it gives us a better impression of how the whole like patterns are gonna look, right? Do I follow chess? Yes, I do. it's my unhealthy hobby, because I don't know what it is with that game, but it sucks me in. You guys want to see something funny? Here, let me show you 1 second. Because I've mentioned this before. I have a problem with chess, like a little problem. If I don't do this, I will play chess for a long time. So what I do here is I have this plugin, which is the stay focused option, and it has this thing called the nuclear option, and it doesn't let me get into chess.com or leeches or anything. So if I try to log in, it's like, no, shouldn't you be working? It's like, you're not gonna be playing chess today. And I had to add the site like chess, leeches, and the freaking like apps manager or the extension manager to that plugin, because I would just like turn it off and go back to playing. So yeah, I do play quite a bit of chess. I need to uninstall it from my phone every now and then because I get quite addicted. And I'm not that good. I'm not even that good, but it's just... yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like clicks on my brain like very, very intensely. So if I don't control myself, I can spend hours just like playing 3-minute blitz matches and then getting tilted and losing more and more. You know the drill. You know the drill. Okay, let's set this line right there. Awesome. Okay, so now I want to jump into this little piece right here, this like part of the cloth, which, as if you remember, it's just the it's like a latex suit that's being stretched across her abdomen. But what I want to do is I actually want to separate this from the abdomen. This is something that I mention quite often. Let me go back to Krita real quick. I finished the low rank missions. I'm already playing high rank, but I'm playing at the same rate as my brother, so we're still sort of like playing casually. Like 1 hour every day, not too much. I think I'm hunter rank 34 right now or something like that. Sumi, what's up, man? What's up? What plugin? No, this is not a plugin, Lisa Lodi. This is a software. It's called Marmoset, and it's a software that we can use to texture stuff. So it's a really, really good software. You can use it to texture, you can use it to render, you can use it to bakes. So here's the thing, guys. If you have two elements, right, and you overlap them, if one element is literally on top of the other, when you bake this down, you're gonna get a very sharp line there, right? Like a very like pretty much like a razor sharp line on the bake, which for certain things like hard surface elements, it looks good, but for organic things, it doesn't look that great. The other option that we have is what I have right now in this particular one. Let me turn off the poly paint. So right now, this is just a mesh, right? Like we don't have anything on this mesh. It's just the sculpted cloth. So what we're seeing here in terms of like a profile view, we're seeing something like this. And the problem with this is that this looks very soft. Like that kind of bake, if we bake that into a plane, it's just gonna look very weird and very soft. It doesn't look realistic. So what I like to do here is I'm actually gonna divide the cloth into a different mesh, and then I'm gonna have the abdomen like this, so that we have this sort of like smooth mesh and a little bit of a sharp edge there as well, okay? This will give you a better ambient occlusion, it will give you a better normal map, and in general, it just makes the whole process a lot like cleaner. So for this one, it's very simple. I'm gonna go to my select lasso, and I'm gonna select the abdomen here, all of these parts that are visible. There we go. Invert the selection. Make sure that this back part is back. There we go. I can just do Control W, and that should give me polygroups, right? One polygroup and the other polygroup. And then on this one, we can do split and group split, and it's gonna separate both polygroups. That's it. So now we have the cloth separated from the abdomen, right? Hopefully that makes sense for everyone. Now on this abdomen, I'm gonna grab the same pink color. I'm just gonna say color, color fill object. There we go. And we can use our move brush to like push this in a little bit more. Right? There we go. Now on this one right here, we do need to sort of like clean it up or dynamesh. So if I dynamesh, I'm gonna get something like very horrible. So what I'm gonna do with this particular one is I'm actually gonna give it thickness. I normally don't do this, but in this case I think it's gonna work. So I'm gonna do dynamic subdivision. Oh well, first we need to do... Oh, that's fine. We're gonna give it a little bit of thickness here. There you go, you can see the thickness happening there. Not too much, something like that. There we go. I'm gonna hit apply, and then we're gonna dynamesh. And by doing that, we now have a mesh that is subdivided, right? So we can start smoothing out, and we can use our move brush to close it. So this is gonna be now a mesh that we can sculpt like cloth, and it's gonna give us a way better bake here on this like abdomen section. Does that make sense? So splitting things into multiple elements, it's a really good way to generate more visual interest on your characters. And a lot of people, I don't know why, I guess I was the same when I was starting as well, like we feel like having too many subtools or too many elements can be very like complicated or damaging, but believe me, that's usually the way to go. So don't worry too much about that, okay? Let's see. Seraphine says, quick question. Are you planning to do a kind of review of ZBrush versus Blender sculpting? Because ZBrush is expensive. I've seen people saying it isn't that much ahead of Blender anymore. No, I would say it's still quite ahead of ZBrush or Blender. I would say Blender has... I don't want to throw a number there. Yeah, no, I think 80% is a fair number. 80%. Let's say Blender has 80% of the features or the elements that ZBrush has, right? And for some, that might be like, oh, that's good enough. Like, I don't mind having just like 20% less options, right? So if you're going to be working, again, in an indie studio or in a small team, it doesn't really matter. Whatever you use to sculpt, that's fine, as long as you can deliver the stuff that they're asking from you, right? But if you're going to be working on the big studios, most people will be using like ZBrush. I know it's expensive. I totally understand. But here's the thing. When you become a professional artist, hopefully you're gonna have a sort of like a good like a revenue stream, right? Like an influx of like freelance gigs or whatever that's gonna allow you to pay for your license. So you include the cost of the license in your price as an artist. And if not, if you're gonna be working for a studio, they need to provide you the license. Like if your studio is not providing you the license and they're not paying the difference so that you can get your own license, you might wanna like check if there's another option out there, because ideally, again, the studio should be providing that kind of stuff. Oh, we got the winner! My God, I completely missed it. Sorry. Congratulations to our good friend, Suicide Cowboy. There we go. So our friend here, Cowboy, you just won Marmoset Toolbag 5 for 1 year, my friend. Thank you very much to our friends here at Marmoset for this gift. We have one more, okay? We're going to prepare one more. Marcelo, that's you, Marcelo? There you go. Awesome, man. Well, congratulations. You got a full year of Marmoset. Now you have absolutely no excuses to learn the software and to, and to use all of the tools that it has to get the best possible outcome for your renders, okay? So yeah, there you go, man. Congratulations on the prize. I'm gonna be contacting you after the stream, okay? I'll give you a code and you're gonna be able to redeem that on the site. I'll explain all the process as soon as the stream ends. Okay, now we're gonna do the course. Awesome. So the next giveaway, my friends, the next 30-minute giveaway, we're gonna be giving away one course of your choosing. One course for you, my friends. You can pick whatever course from our library that you want. It can be the anatomy course. It can be the Marmoset course, which is the newest one, of course. You can pick the ZBrush course, Substance Painter, I don't know, Marvelous Designer. You can do the Maya one, Blender. We have a bunch of courses here on the site. So as soon as we get the next winner, you guys, you guys can pick it, okay? Now here I'm adding a little bit of tension to this particular like part of the suit. This suit is tricky because this suit is black, and whenever you have something that's like very, very, very dark, it can be a little bit difficult to see. So I'm gonna go for like a navy blue sort of like color, so that I can at least see a little bit of the elements. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, that looks nice. So again, this is kind of like a latex. It's not latex, but, well, I think it's like leather. More like leather. So let's smooth that out. Now it's very difficult to see without the poly paint. Hey, why am I not... There we go. How many giveaways today? We're gonna have 2 more giveaways. So the next giveaway is a course giveaway, as I just mentioned, and the one after that is gonna be another Marmoset 1-year subscription. So let's add a little bit of a trim here to the leather. It's a little bit of a weird shape, to be honest, because this kind of like open slot wouldn't be very normal, to be honest. It wouldn't be very normal because the tension points are coming from down here. This like little hook that we have right there. I think I want to add like a little bit of texture here. Try to add like a, because everything's gonna be very sort of like basic, pretty much. So I want to add this like pattern, kind of like leather, like reinforced leather or something. And I'm just using the clay buildup here to build that like little detail, and then smooth very, very softly, so we can get something there. Make sure to clean stuff. Remember that we're doing this in like Marble Rivals stuff, and it's usually very clean. So I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to push it like too much. And even the thickness here might be a little bit too big. So I'm going to start pushing this in a little bit more, because I don't want this to be too realistic, right? Seraphin says, I appreciate that info. Just people saying that Maxon have been lazy with development lately and not really worth the money they charge. We're just looking for your opinion. Yeah, no, I don't think they've been lazy, man. They, a big chunk of their effort last year went into the ZBrush for iPad thing, which I think is a good pivot point. The only thing is, I would have preferred if they did that as an optional thing for those of us who are subscribed. But they've done some stuff. Hopefully they'll release more things this year, like more advanced tools. But even with what we have right now, like ZBrush is such a powerful software, right? So it's difficult not to recommend it, especially because so many like different companies, studios, and workflows use it. People who use it for 3D printing, for jewelry, for medical like reconstructions and things like that. Like there's so many different things that people use ZBrush for, and that's why it's one of those things that you cannot stop recommending. Let's see. Yeah, that's one of the things that I don't like about Blender 3D Maniac. The fact that you do need to split the... Oh, there we go. You need to split the polygons because it's not... It can't handle like very high levels of topology as nicely as ZBrush. Like right now we are at 8.1 million points here in ZBrush, and it's perfectly fine. And in Blender, yeah, once you hit a specific threshold, it becomes a little bit more complicated. What are the players? Like, just keep going, man. Like, this is a big project. We're not going to finish it. We're not going to finish it this stream, but we're going to move as much as we can and try to cover as much ground here on the character. I think we're going to jump onto the belt next. Let's see. Is the giveaway going to open to entries in the event channels in 30 minutes? Or the... No, it's happening. Like, right now it's open, Tabernacus. Like, the giveaway is open right now for the premium course. So you can jump straight into our event channels right now. Like, it's already there. Did I miss anything here? Any other question? They're not thick enough. Who is not thick enough combined? Thor here? No, I wanted to go a little bit... I'm following the reference from the Invisible Woman. Invisible Woman model, and she is very thin, so we're following that sort of like reference. I don't love this one. Okay, can you guys see what the issue is with this one? It's not looking clean. Let's look very lumpy, right? So this is one of the like stages where I might just ignore all of the stuff that I've sculpted so far, and I'm just gonna see remesh. And hope to get a cleaner topology, because this is the kind of stuff that I would expect for this kind of character. And that's why Dynamesh is really, really good, but having clean subdivision meshes can usually give you an even nicer and cleaner result. There we go. So now if we see that difference, look at the difference. Might not look like much, but it's definitely like changing the way we visualize this thing. So it's important to keep that in mind, okay? Like, not everything in your sculpt is gonna be done with what's the word? Dynamesh. You can use traditional subdivision like approaches as well. Let's push this. I'm doing like a little bit of the belly, the abdominal muscles right there. Like some of the volumes that we would expect to see. She's quite strong, so there we go. Secatre, what's up, man? Yeah, it's 10 times exactly. Yeah. Dynamesh is great to get the shape going, and you can usually like push it and polish it to a very nice effect. But if you do C-remeshing and you do traditional like subdivision modeling, you can get so much cleaner effects. Okay, so now let's go with the belt. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna delete all of the details that I added before, because we're gonna be adding those details as a separate piece. I recently did a short where I was showing you the curb hopper, and that's one that really works in this one. But here, there's gonna be another piece where I'm gonna be able to show you some nice techniques to clean this. So let's go. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to again clean that stuff a little bit there, and I need to model the shape so that we have the exact shape that we want. So I'm gonna make this a little bit more circular here on the top, something like that. And you can see again, it looks very lumpy, it looks very weird. It has like all of this blocking stage that we did. We need to start removing it. Thank you, Secatre, thank you. As long as you like and subscribe, I'm happy. I don't mind if I'm in the background there. Yeah, we're really close. Oh no, I think we already passed 42K, right? On YouTube. YouTube guys, can you confirm? I think we're already past 42K on YouTube. We're on our way to 50K. That's gonna be a big milestone. I think we can get there by our anniversary. By our second anniversary, we should be able to get there. Where would you be doing textures for this character? Substance or 3D code? Probably 3D code. I think I'm gonna do like I'm gonna do the basic Marmoset, of course. I might even do like the basic like gradients and passes inside of Marmoset, and then I'll probably jump into 3D code. Because I was looking at the models from Marvel Rivals, and it's weird. It has this sort of like hand painted approach, but very like graphical, like comic book style. I don't know. It's weird. It's a little bit weird. I'm not gonna deny it. Okay, so this is what we have right now, correct? And if we take a look at this, what I want to do is I want to clean up the whole shape. I want to make this like very, very smooth, and hopefully get some nice edge loops on the borders so that we can extract or generate some generate some different meshes. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the polygroup section, and I'm gonna use this thing called group by normals. There we go. And what that should do should give me... Oh, did it not work? Group by normals. Let's go 90 degrees. Why is it not working? No. I don't want to do group masks. I mean, we could do masking. Group by normals should work. Is the angle too steep? Maybe the angle's too steep. Ah, that's a shame. I was hoping we could do this a little bit cleaner. That's fine. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to mask. So I'm gonna mask all of the front view here on the element. Yeah, no, I went a little bit lower, but it was already like freaking out with the border. So I'll just mask. So we're gonna mask all of these things right here, and we're gonna extract this to get a thin layer of geometry, and then we're gonna clean up that layer. There we go. Make sure that we're not grabbing any of the layers here on the bottom, or as few of those points as possible. There we go. Something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be polishing it a little bit. So we're going to go geometry, and then we're going to be doing subtool. We're going to be doing extract with a 0 thickness. There we go. And we're going to hit extract and accept. There we go. So this is the piece, right? It's not bad, but it's very, it's still like very dirty, and it's still just Dynamesh. So what I need to do first is I'm going to go to deformation. I'm going to use this option called polish by crisp edges, polish by groups, any of this, just to remove any like weird particle. And then we go geometry, C remesh, half. Okay, so it's going to take whatever amount of polygons we have, and it's going to be like doing half of it. And I'm going to keep going until we get a very sort of like manageable amount of polygons. Can you see that? Like pretty much as if it was like poly modeling instead of Maya. Like this. That's perfect. That's actually, it's not perfect. It's excellent. That's exactly what we're going for. So as you can see, we have that. Now, this belt right here, we actually don't need it anymore. We can either just like hide it or delete it. In this case, I'm just going to hide it for now. And now that we have very few polygons, this is great because with very few polygons, it's a lot easier to play around and to manipulate these points, right? It's a lot easier to manage small amounts of points than it is to manage like big amounts of points. So I'm gonna start like just straightening all of these points as much as I can, especially this ones right here, because I want to add a trim border. And to do that, we're gonna jump into SimModeler. A lot of people don't like SimModeler. It's not my favorite brush, I'm gonna admit, but it's not a bad brush. So I'm gonna add one right there, and I'm gonna add one right there, and then I'm gonna use the polygroup option to polygroup that edge and polygroup that edge. You guys see what we're doing here? So we're generating, or we're creating the loops that we're going to be using to either extract or just model these things as separate pieces. Okay, let's smooth this thing a little bit there. I want to keep it as clean as possible. Like all of those planes, like plane changes where things are going like too deep, we don't want that. Let's push them out. Sonar the cat says, hey, finally able to join one of your live streams. I've been training my team's 3D modeling with a lot of your content. Cheers. Hey, that's awesome, man. What are you guys working on? The game? Are you game developers, or are you doing like film? What are you guys doing? I don't know. The thing is, Casey, I'm so used to like traditional poly modeling like inside of Maya that it just feels so unintuitive to me. But I understand, like, I've seen some people do, like, freaking amazing things with SimModeler. It's just, I don't feel, I feel like I lose my patience very quickly with the brush when it's not doing what I need it to do. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this one. Let's hide it for now. Let's go back to this one. Let's go to Dynamic Soft. So Geometry, Dynamic Soft, Dynamic. I'm not going to, we can add actually Smooth Subdivision, that's fine. And we're going to add the thickness, right? Now, on the offset of the thickness, I'm going to push the offset all the way in so that the thickness is going in, right? And we can stop right around there. Now, you can see that we're already getting some areas where we're not touching the element. And this is why Dynamic Soft is so good, because we can push this, and we're actually modifying the low poly version. So, like the single plane that we had before. We're not modifying the high poly. So, we can push it to get like a uniform amount of... uniform amount of element right there. This one I think I'm gonna push up a little bit. I don't care about the jewels that we had right there. We could always bring them back. There we go. Yeah, let's save. Let's save this. There we go. First-time game developers making a horror game based on Dante's Divine Comedy. Ooh, that's a great topic, man. I have a couple of topics that I would like to make like a small game out of. There's a lot of Mexican like horror stories, like folklore stories. And yeah, horror games, guys, are I wouldn't say super easy, right? But they're like relatively simple to do. I'm not sure if you remember, like, what was it, like 12 years ago when there was like a huge influx of indie games like Amnesia and Slenderman and all of those. And from a technical perspective, they were not like extremely like intense, right? But they were really good. Like people really enjoyed those games. So that's a good way to do it. You can do some part of the paint of the hand painting textures in Marmoset, Seraphine, but I still feel like 3D Code has a little bit of an upper hand there with the quick blending that you can do with the brushes, because 3D Code feels a lot closer to Photoshop in terms of blending than than this other one does, than Marmoset. Okay, so now what we're gonna do here is we're going to delete this element, so delete hidden, so we're only left with these strips. And we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go to Geometry, Dynamic Subdiv, and we're going to add thickness. Right? The only problem is we're adding this as smooth effects, and I actually don't want that. Actually, let me go back. I'm gonna delete that. The reason why I need to go back is because we did change the size and things of this thing a little bit. So I need to modify that. I'm gonna go to geometry and hit apply on the dynamic subdiv, and then go back to see modeler. And I do want to add one more line there for the trim, and one more line there. There we go. That looks nice. Now we can duplicate again. Select that edge, delete hidden, and now we can do another dynamic subdiv with some thickness. Right? Something like that. A little bit more, maybe. There we go. Just so that we have a good wreath on the silhouette from afar. Like, not too thin. And we hit apply. So, yeah, look at that. Look at this very nice effect. Now, right now, it looks very, very sharp. One of the things that we can do is just delete a couple of edges, or just start trimming or doing something. Like, even like a small bevel. Let's try that. Let's try that. Let me just say real quick. So, save as. So, I'm going to try using a tool here. We've used it before. We need to make sure that this have a different poly group. There we go. There we go. There we go. And there we go. So what I want to do is I want to create a little bevel, right, on this element. It will be very difficult for me to go with like a trim dynamic and just go across the whole border. So easiest way to do it is going here into geometry. No, it's not geometry. Where is it? Oh man, I always lose it. Where is it? Now I can find it. It's called bevel. Bevel something. It's in geometry, right? Modify topology. Siri measure, stager. Where is it? Come on. Can't believe I lost it. Anyone remember where it was? Isn't one of these things right here? Panel loops? No, it's not panel loops. Mesh integrity, Siri measure, clay polish. I'm looking for the Bevel Pro thing. Panel loops, geometry, edge loop. Geometry, edge loop. I mean, yeah, no, but it's not panel loops what I'm looking for. I know what that does. No, I'm looking for the bevel thing. No, it's not a C plugin. Did they change that into the C plugin? Oh my god, did they really move it here? I'm not hallucinating, right? I'm sure it was over here. Bevel Pro, yeah. But I'm sure it was over here last time I checked. But yeah, Bevel Pro is what I wanted to use. What the hell, man? They should add that into the documentation. Like when you open Siri, it's like, hey, we changed it. It's now over here or something. I'm pretty sure it was not there. Anyway, so this is Bevel Pro. And what we can do is we can change the bevel amount. It's just going to be like a little border. There we go. Something like that. And I'm just going to hit auto apply. And that's it. And I think we can exit. No, fuck. Forgot about that. Bevel Pro. Auto apply. Yep. Operation cancelled. The hell. Well, the only good thing about this one is that it's a different like little software. So if it crashes, it doesn't crash your. So auto apply and save. No, not save. Oh, over here. Sorry. Okay, there we go. There we go. So that's what we wanted to get, right? So just an overall bevel across the whole thing, and it just gives a nice little like shine or thing to the whole element. It uses, why not go to lower, because we don't have a lower subdivision on this one, David. Since we extracted it from this one, we had a lot of subdivisions already. So the other option would be to delete all of the extra edges and then manually bevel it. But yeah, as soon as I found it, like, this is, I think this is way easier. There you go. Okay, so that's cool. So we got this very nice sort of like base mesh, as you can see right there. That's looking nice. Let me delete this, guys. These are the crystals. We're gonna be adding them soon. But now what I want to do is I want to add the sort of like little loops that hold everything together. And to do that, I'm actually going to do it with a different like tool here. So I'm going to start with a cylinder, make this a polymesh 3D. Let's rotate this. Let me check how the topology is here. This is where C modeler might come into place. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete edges. Delete. Here we go. Delete edge loop complete. There we go. So I'm gonna simplify the amount of edge loops right there. There we go. And then we can grab all of this layer right there. Let's soften the mask a little bit. Do something like this. Probably something like this. Smooth this out, and then we select this ones, Control W to loop them. Go back to C modeler. I'm going to inset polygroup all. Do something like this, and then Q mesh polygroup all, and push this in. I want to create this little sort of like barrel-y thingy, right? So since I don't want to, like, I want to be a little bit lazy, right? It's not that we're going to be lazy, but we're just going to, we want to be, well, lazy is the wrong word. We want to be efficient. We want to be efficient. So I'm going to Control D this a couple of times, something like that. And let's start making this as if it was made out of leather, right? Like some strong leather. So I'm going to use Trim Dynamic. I'm going to start like sharpening the corner right there. Give it just a little bit of detail here. There we go. We can even like break symmetry, but nah, we're gonna do that in just a second. This is just again like a little loop that we want to do. And once we have this, we can go over here to our character, append, and we append that loop right there, which is huge right now. We're gonna make it very small. And this is there's multiple ways to do this, what I'm about to do. But in this particular case, I'm just gonna do it manually. I feel like sometimes we try to automate a lot of things. And yeah, automatic things or like some efficient things are fine. But sometimes that sort of like hand-placed effect can also really give you something interesting. So there you go. See that? So that's the little detail that we're gonna add there. It's kind of like the element that's holding the trims together. Now to really make sense of this, we might need to push this back a little bit more, because I want to make sure that if we isolate the the belt and everything else, that we can actually see what's going on. There we go. So see how this thing is gonna go all the way across. Yeah, Maya tends to be buggy. Every 3D software tends to be buggy, guys. And the reason is, remember that we're working with so many different like computer component combinations. So someone might be using AMD, someone might be using Intel, someone might be using a specific amount of RAM or a different version of Windows. So unfortunately, ideally, they should have testers to make sure that it works stable on all versions, but it's not really humanly possible to do it for every single configuration out there. There we go. So once I have this, I'm just going to Control Alt. Oh, we need to, we're going to delete lower on this whole thing. So geometry, delete lower. There we go. I'm going to Control Alt, move it around, and I'm literally going to start like duplicating this thing and positioning it around the character. Does that make sense? Any questions so far? And then we got some questions here. Let's see. Yeah, 6 more minutes, guys. 6 more minutes for the giveaway. If you're not on the Discord channel, make sure to jump. You can get a free course on this giveaway. And we're gonna have one more giveaway after this one, so make sure to join the Discord channel. That's where we give our giveaways to our amazing community. Do you know about... Yeah, creases. Creases are fine. I like using creases. The only thing I don't love about creases is that sometimes they don't look the same on other softwares. So the crease configuration that you have, for instance, in Maya might look different than the crease configuration that you have inside of like ZBrush or Blender. So I'm a little bit more old school that way, but I'm gonna agree that creases are really good. They're a really good tool to get this very nice hard surface edges. So if you like using creases, that's fine. As long as your bakes and everything works perfect, that's fine. After 5 years in the industry, I feel like 3D softwares, when used close to its potentials, if it were sentient at all times, like, I can't believe I haven't crashed yet. Yeah. Yeah. Sky Phoenix says, I'm following your substance course and you had been such help. I did action and I'm rigging with advanced skeleton, but face problems with importing the action to rig it. You usually rig first. You do all your weights first, Sky Phoenix, and then you do the groom, okay? Because from the mesh, you're gonna extract the scalp. Remember, you create like a scalp mesh, and you're pretty much gonna be duplicating the weights or transferring the weights to that scalp mesh. Otherwise, it's gonna break. So you usually rig first, and then you do the hair. 3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes for the next giveaway while I'm placing this little loops right here. See how much this little loops help? Like, it's one of those things that can really add a lot of, like, again, silhouette and changes to the forms of your character. And it's not that difficult. It's a little bit time consuming, right? But it's not that difficult. For those rings on the belt, would you not make the center of those hollows since the inner part won't be seen? No, and the reason why that is, Devil, is because we're going to be doing a retopology, right? So all of these things will be captured on the retopology, or if I retopologize, like, every single one of them later on, like, I'm still need to decide how we're going to be doing the retopology. Sometimes you even don't capture this in the silhouette, and it's just going to be captured on the normal map and on the ambient occlusion. So in this case, since I know they're not going to be seen, but, for that exact same reason, we don't really need to remove the inside. If this was the low poly version, then yes, definitely. I would definitely remove the inside to optimize a little bit more. Can you please make full course on ZBrush? Who wants to tell Om right here what he's looking for? You guys know what course that is, right? That's one of our most famous courses now on the site, with a lot of student satisfaction. A lot of people really enjoy that course. We already have it, my friend. It's called the ZBrush Stylized course, a stylized character course. It's an Oni character. If you go to my site, you're gonna find like a red demon guy character. That course will teach you all the things that you need to know about ZBrush. Okay, the first 2 chapters are sort of like very introduction level chapters. We focus on the basics of the software, and then we jump and do a full character, which a lot of people have done already, and we've had some excellent results. There we go. So now we have all of those loops. As you can see, I stopped close to the middle line right there, and now the only thing I need to do is do mirror and wealth, and that's it. We got the elements on both parts of the character. And again, it's such a small little detail, but it really helps sort of like break the overall silhouette. Oh, now it got cold. Why is it cold? There we go. I just want the fan. 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And the winner for this is... The winner for our premium course is none other than Callado. At Callado. I'm not sure if it's Callado as in silenced in Spanish, or if there's a different type of name, but Callado, congratulations, my friend. You are the winner of our premium course. So I'm going to be contacting you after the stream ends, and you can tell me, or if you want, just send me a DM right now and tell me, hey, thank you. I would like this course, and I'll give you a coupon so that you can redeem it in our sites, okay? So congratulations, Callado, for this one right here. Which course would you recommend for more advanced techniques in ZBrush? Iria Mara, that's a great question. I don't have one right now on the site. Like, the only has some, like, advanced stuff, to be honest. Like, if you, or actually the anatomy course, if you want to really improve your anatomy, the anatomy course has some like cool anatomy stuff in there. But I'm gonna be doing something like that soon as well, like a more advanced like ZBrush approach. Let's delete this one. We don't need it anymore. There we go. And now we need to add the exact same thing, but down here. So again, I'm gonna hit append, bring the little cylinder back in. Diego, there you go, Diego. Congratulations, my friend. Yeah, just send me a DM on Discord, and I'll get you your course as soon as the stream ends, okay? Just tell me which course you want. You can go to aveleal3d.com. Look at all of those, the ones that we have right there. We have 9 paid courses and 1 free course. By the way, guys, if you haven't seen the free course, that's the portfolio presentation course. It's available for free to everyone. And yeah, you can pick whichever one you want, okay? Congratulations. Congratulations. There we go, guys. Now we have 1 more premium course. 1 more premium course? Okay. Yeah, there you go. Let's go with 1 more premium course here. Or is it the same? Did this thing bugged? 1 premium course 2 minutes ago. No, that's the new one. That's the new one, right, David? No, I think... Oh, there you go, It changed. Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, okay. So the next one, guys, it's already here on the Discord. Make sure to join into the events channel. 1 full year, valued at roughly or over 200 USD. 1 full year of Marmoset Toolbag 5, guys. Marmoset Toolbag 5. If you want to try and use this amazing software, make sure to join our Discord right now and go to the giveaway section so that you can participate for this license, official license from our friends at Marmoset. Thanks again to them. Do you have any physical anatomy books or only books that you would recommend? I think a benefit. Yeah, I do have one. I'll pick that up after the stream. Let's see. Let's go full screen here. There we go. So these are the 3 books that are there on my library and I use all the time. From classical stuff, we got, first of all, my all-time favorite, Bridgman, Complete Guide to Drawing from Life. It has a bunch of information about every single part of the body, the neck, the arms, the torso, the chest, the legs, feet, everything. What the hell is this? This is from my time at school. I don't know who drew this, but this is from my time at school. Can you see it? Oh, it's too overexposed. There you go. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be me. I don't think it's supposed to be me. I don't even know who this is. I'm gonna have to post that on Facebook and see if one of my friends recognizes it. But yeah, so this is one of my favorite books. Again, A Drawing from Life by George Bridgman. Another one, classic one, Dynamic Anatomy by Bernd Hogarth. This is a lot more, colorful, a little bit more modern, I would say. It has a different kind of style to it. It's a little bit more stylized, definitely more stylized, but it also has a lot of like very cool information and examples of all of the different things about the human body. So strongly recommend this one. Again, this one is Bernd Hogarth, Dynamic Anatomy. Another one that's really good. And the final one is this one. This is a little bit of an old one. This is one of the first books that I got back when I was starting. It's called ZBrush Digital Sculpting Human Anatomy by Scott Spencer. And this one includes a bunch of things of actually sculpting the human figure inside of ZBrush. I think they were using ZBrush 3.5. Oh my god, I feel old now. ZBrush 3.5 even came with like a CD there that we could use to load the C tools and everything. You should be able to find it. I'm not sure if there's like a PDF version online or something, but this one's very cool because Spencer here goes through all of the process of, again, like sculpting the anatomy. So it's a good resource, I would say. Of course, Anatomy for Sculptors is another one. I don't have the physical version of that book. I would love to, but I don't have it. And that's another great resource for any artist. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, anatomy for sculptors, as I just mentioned there. There you go. What's up, Satlan? Hello, welcome. Yeah, no, you're welcome, man. Hope that helps. Yeah, books are underrated, guys. Like, a lot of people underestimate how powerful books can be. Like, video tutorials are really good, right? Because you see in real time, like, what's going on. But books are really, really good. There's a lot of books out there with a lot of very cool information. And even though they might be, like, old books, remember, as I've mentioned before, the fundamentals of stuff, the fundamentals of art, they are, like, timeless. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a book from, like, I've been studying a lot of, like, color and paint in the last couple of months, and I've been reading a lot of, like, old books from people doing, like, oil paintings and acrylic paintings and things like that, and all of that information transfers perfectly to the stuff that we do in the digital world. So, yeah, don't underestimate books. An educated Cherokee would potentially use that. Use what? the anatomy books, Ash? And Mr. Bo, welcome, my friend. Yeah, if you're an animator, the Animator Survival Kit by Richard Williams. Of course, another must-have. There we go. Yeah, exactly, Casey. I completely agree. You can learn as much from a book. The only, I guess the only thing about books, and I'm not sure if this is a generational thing. I like reading, but for instance, my wife, she doesn't like reading as much. She likes reading like the stuff for her career, but she doesn't read a lot of like books, you know, like just like novels and things like that. My brothers, they read nothing. They pretty much are non-readers. I don't know. People just don't like to read anymore. Drawing books from the late 19th and early 20th century are very, very interesting. Any that you would recommend, Becker? Any specific one that jumps to mind? Another thing that I recommend, these are a little bit more expensive, but if you can get like the art books from movies, like they always do art books from movies. Like I have a couple from like How to Train Your Dragon, and I have some from like The Hobbit, and there's a lot of explanation from artists there, like explaining their thought process, some of the tools that they use. You can learn a lot of stuff from those as well. Again, they tend to be a little bit more pricey. They're like $50, $60 plus sometimes shipping, but another, it's a good investment, I would say. They're heavy though, so if you're moving a lot, maybe try getting a digital version, because they can be quite heavy. Oh, the screen! Oh my god. There we go. sorry. Don't worry. I didn't do anything. I was just like pushing these things right here. Short form video content has changed people's minds. I think that quick dopamine cycle is the reason less people will read books. Yeah, I think it definitely is a factor. I'm not gonna deny it. It definitely is a factor. Yeah, we're used at things being so fast right now, right? Nowadays, we're not patient. We're not patient at all. Awesome. Look at that. Nice. Yeah, I like that. That looks cool. Might be a little bit too much though, so I'm gonna push them in a little bit so they don't push the silhouette too heavily. But I like the effect. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about. Hey, Liso, thanks for the sub, my friend. The only thing I don't like this is I feel like it's giving us a very sort of like wide hip approach. Let me check my reference real quick, because I have a reference here from The Invisible Woman, and she also has a belt, I think. I just want to see if the belt sort of like tapers out. No, see? Okay, this is very interesting. Look at this. Oh, no, not that. This. So look at this belt, right? This belt is sitting on top of our hips, so it's not following the form of the lower hips. It's a little bit higher, and it's very straight, right? Like we're not seeing it flare out as much as what I have right now on mine. And I feel like that helps give a nicer, like cleaner silhouette. So let's do that. Now, in order to do that, what I'm gonna have to do here is I'm going to probably have to merge everything. So we have belt there. Okay, so let's just grab this guy's right here. Let's say merge down. Okay. And then I'm gonna move these guys up. Up, up, up. Up, up, up. Up, up, up. There we go. Now we're just gonna merge this thing down. So merge down. Okay. Merge down. Okay, this is why you don't have to worry about having so many things, because at the end of the day, you can just merge everything down. And since everything has its own polygroup, it's gonna be easy to keep things organized. So let's push this up a little bit. Let's scale it in a little bit more. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use my move brush, of course with symmetry enabled, to sort of like straighten it a little bit more. Okay, so we're gonna keep this as a little bit of a straighter belt. This of course is gonna push other things, such as this like leather things that are hanging from her belt, but hopefully we'll get closer to the effect that we want. I'm also gonna straighten this thing over here on the back. You see that, like that curvature here, it's too intense. I know belts tend to do this, but I want to keep things a little bit more straight. Figure drawing and composition being a number one of hints for the student designer upon the treatment of the human figure by Richard J. Gate. Okay, yeah, that's a really intense title. I'll definitely check it out. Figure drawing and composition being a number of hints for the student and designer upon the treatment of the human figure by Richard J. Hayton. Nice. Let's see. How would those details bake down to a single belt mesh? Or we would need to put extra topo in those places? Yeah, we would need to put extra topo in those places if we want to keep everything as a single mesh. But I would probably keep these little guys as a separate mesh. I would probably do that. There we go. Nice. Okay, so now let's add the crystals back. Let me open my Pura file. Where is it? I don't have it here. Oh man. I'm gonna have to look for a reference. Mighty Thor. So you can see that she has like 3 like big metal like bits or something on top of the elements. So let's add those. Do this, and again, this is we talked about this a little bit earlier, right? Like, we don't want these things to just be there, like overlapping, and that's it. We want to have a nice clean sort of like overlap or something like that. So what I'm gonna do with this one in particular is I'm actually going to use my knife curve. Let me mirror and well. There we go. I'm gonna use the knife curve. And I'm gonna cut it. Probably like there. There we go. And then, because I want this to be a little bit more so like handcrafted, let's trim this border. Any tips on creating a concept for a creature or monster from scratch? Is concept art the best, or movie clips or something else? Nature. My best advice, look for cool animals and see how you would mix them. And also think about like, I would say design, or one of the things about design is emphasizing the things that are going to make your monster unique, right? So one of you guys know I love Monster Hunter. Look at the Monster Hunter's designs. Like the new designs that they did for Monster Hunter Wilds, they're really freaking cool. Like a lot of the monsters look very interesting. I personally really love the first monster that you fight, the Chatacabra. It's this sort of like toad creature, and he has this like big tongue, and it looks very cool. And it's a relatively like straightforward concept, but he has a couple of things that really make him look like a frog. First of all, the general like shape of the body. Then he has this like massive tongue, like an iguana or something like that. And then the colors. So all of those things like make the contribution to making sure that the design looks very nice. There's also like this other monster called the cockatrice, which is like a rooster, like a fire rooster. Very cool one as well, because it has a fire sort of like element, and it has like a huge tail. I don't know, like the design is just so cool. So look at it, like And again, it's about taking an animal and then emphasizing, exaggerating, or changing, modifying certain things to make it look a lot more interesting, right? So that like cockatrice that I'm talking about is like a rooster, and it has like a huge tail. So they emphasize the tail and then change the crown on the top and the colors again, just to make it look cooler, but at the same time it's just a rooster. It's just like a big chicken. So you don't need to go like super fancy and with like a super complex silhouette. Sometimes less is more, as we say in design, and you don't need to do like extreme things. I really like this one. Let's duplicate it. It's a small one right there, and have this one right there. Kind of want to rotate it a little bit. There we go. Si Bema Melembro, what's up, my friend? Welcome to the stream. Okay, let's mirror well. Let me a little lower. Well, there we go. See that? So what we've now recovered the little jewels that we have right there. Again, I'm changing the idea of them being like metal things, and I'm going with this sort of like hammered effect. So yeah, I like it. I think this looks interesting. Kind of want to add a couple of more wrinkles here. Again, not too many, but just something there to indicate that this is cloth. Again, sometimes less is more. So just a little bit of an indication there. Yeah, Terriel Wildlatch, as Lord Tellum is saying here, great like reference to learn about like creature design. There we go. Again, something simple. Cool. Okay. So what should we do next? Should we do this leather bit right here, or should we do the helmet? What do you guys think? You guys let me know. And how are we doing on the contest? I think we're close, right? 14 minutes. 14 minutes for the contest. Remember, guys, we're giving away a full year of Marmoset Toolbag 5. Yeah, Ryan, I get it. It depends. If I see that the shape is very complex, I'll save with the knife tool. But if the shape is not that complex, I'll wait. I'll just like go with it and hope for the best. Helmet, leather, helmet. We got 2 boats for the helmet. Yeah, let's do the helmet. We definitely need to clean up. Like it's pretty much there. It's not finished, but it's almost there. These pieces we're gonna split from the main shape to have them as separate pieces. But I want to do this main shape right there. So let's follow a similar process to what we did a couple of minutes ago. So we're gonna start by masking. Masking all of this thing right here. Masking here. Oh, by the way, did you guys saw that we got featured on the Huion 14th anniversary? They asked me to record a little video. It's on their Instagram page. They did like a nice little like short. Let's see. Hi, Ave. Is it normal to take 2 or 3 months for one character if anyone is a beginner? Yes, 2 or 3 months, especially in the early stages of your career, I would say it's relatively normal. That's why I don't recommend doing full characters until you have at least like 4 or 5 months of practice doing 3D, so that you can be a little bit faster. Because usually a character, I would say, should be done like in the production level. You're probably gonna have like 3-4 weeks, depending on the complexity of the characters. Of course, there's gonna be characters that are gonna take a lot longer, but I'm talking about like normal level, or not normal level, like a little bit more of a like not AAA. AAA characters might take a lot longer because of the amount of detail. But yeah. Hey, Aaron, what's up, man? No, it's completely normal, Anthony. Okay, so we're gonna grab that and we're gonna do an extraction here. Extract, and we're gonna extract with a 0 thickness. This is very important. And that's the piece that we want. And this is what we want to clean, right? So we're gonna go geometry, series mesh, and series mesh. And we're going to half series mesh, zero mesh, zero mesh, zero mesh. We're gonna keep going and going and going until we find something like this. There we go. So as you can see, this is a lot more workable. And we can start like polishing some of these things a little bit more. There we go. So we go for those like hard edges. We're probably gonna be adding some support edges there or something to really get like a nice clean cut. Because we definitely want to sort of like stylize things a little bit, right? And as I was mentioning, it's a lot easier to work with this sort of like low subdivision or low amounts of subdivision levels than it is to try like pushing points that are like way too intense, right? Imagine having millions of polygons here. It would not be possible. There we go. So here, I actually kind of want to collapse the center line. So I'm going to go see Modeler. And I'm going to collapse the poly loop. There we go. I don't want to collapse it there, though. This is why I don't like this one. I'm going to use insert. I'm going to insert an edge loop right there in the middle. And then I'm going to delete the other edges. Which is pretty much the exact same thing I'm trying to do, but sort of like double the work. There we go. Now QMesh here might work. So let's try QMesh polygroup all. There we go. So we're gonna push this up. All right. Yeah, that looks nice. And now, as someone was mentioning, here's where we can throw in some bevels. So I'm gonna do a bevel right there, right there, right there, right there, right there on the corners, pretty much. There we go. So that if we smooth, right, we get this very nice, clean, sort of like result. Looks a little bit wobbly in a couple of areas. So I'm gonna go all the way down. And if you wanna have less wobbliness, one of the things that you can do is just delete edges. Because all of these areas are very sort of like straight. So we can, for instance, delete a couple of these edges. And that's going to give us a way more sort of like straight result. And then we can do like series mesh or something like that. Like there's ways to. There we go. That looks a lot nicer. So we can pretty much use the corners that we added to create that sort of like interesting bevel. Yeah, something like that. We subdivide a couple of times. And I'm gonna hand like sharpen this a little bit more. So following the same sort of like guides that we have. Well, actually, let me go back. I do want to add a little bit more hardness here. So I'm gonna use insert edge to sharpen some of the corners, not all. Something like that. Yeah, it looks a little bit nicer. There we go. And now we can go in with our like trim dynamic and really sharpen this. Let's get rid of all this whole thing. Wait, hopefully I'm not missing 7 minutes. Okay. I'm paying attention. Did I miss any questions? Arian says, can you please have a look at your Discord once? Not right now, my friend. We're in a live stream. It would be disrespectful for me to jump into the Discord. But if you're sending me a message, don't worry. I'll get to you once we finish the live stream, okay? Let's see. No, we don't have any more questions. You guys suddenly got quiet. Were you focused as well as I was, trying to figure the the topology there on that little piece? go. I kind of want to... Okay. Here we can use the match mover tool. We talked about that one before. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Now let's play with the move brush. And we do need to give it a little bit of curvature, right? You said this thing follows the shape of the head a little bit better. But I like the fact that it's sort of like laying on top of it. Okay, let's see. Let's push this up. There we go. And that's gonna be, of course, like a golden shape. But I like that. I like that. So let's harden this a little bit more by going trim dynamic. And again, just polishing the line right there. Eventually, all of this is gonna have to be retopologized, right? Like, these are not the final like game pieces or game models. And a lot of people feel like that's kind of like a waste of time. It's like, oh, why are we paying too much attention to cleaning the surface here if we're gonna be doing the low poly then or later? And the answer is, remember that there's a bunch of different methods that we use. Some people like to do like a very clean low poly and then just do the high poly. Some people prefer the opposite. I prefer the opposite. I prefer to do a very clean high poly first, and then prepare a very nice low poly for my characters. I'll answer your question again, Meticulous, because this is the first time you chat, and I want to respect that first chat right there. But I've mentioned this before. The environment course proved to be way more time-consuming and challenging than I thought it would. So it's gonna take me longer to do it. I still want to do it, but it's taking sort of like a backseat for now. Okay, so I hope I can get it out this year, but I don't want to make false promises and then fail to meet those expectations. So I can, for instance, say that the next course that we're going to be releasing is not going to be the environment course. And if you go back to the stream, you can check one of the reasons why. And one of the reasons, as I mentioned, is because I need to do a lot of assets for it. And it takes me like a lot of time to do those assets. And I have a lot of other stuff to do here at the studio and with the channel and everything. So my time is definitely limited. So I'm trying to move as fast as I can with that. But I need to make sure that I can keep everything else working, okay? But it will be there. Now, what skills will you need? I would say you need at least to have the ZBrush course, like the basics of ZBrush and the basics of texturing. You can either pick Marmoset or Substance, but you need to have some sort of like basics for texturing as well. Okay? Hope that helps. 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes until we get to the to the next giveaway, which is the Marmoset giveaway. So we're giving away a full year of Marmoset, sponsored here by our good friends at Marmoset. I think they call themselves the monkeys, because Marmoset is a type of monkey. So yeah. What do you think about the subscription model for software? I feel depending on the software, it's a really good option. For instance, Marvel's Designer has that. Speedtree has it, and I really like that because I can just like buy it for 1 month, use it for whatever project I'm working on, and then cancel the subscription and wait until I need it again, right? For other softwares, it depends on the price. If it's a fair price, I think Marmoset has a really fair price. I think it's like $20 per month or something like that. I think it's perfectly valid because it allows you to keep getting the updates and everything. But I do understand that there's some some softwares that might abuse that a little bit. It might be a little bit too steep of a subscription price, and then you might not be getting as much information or as many updates or cool things. It depends. I personally love softwares that do the rent to own option. Even if it takes a couple of years to get there, I really like when they do it because, well, you at least own it at the end of the day. There we go. That looks nice. That looks really nice. I'm really happy how this project is turning out. I was telling you guys this. This was a long week. This was a very heavy week because I had so many like administrative work to do, meetings, calls, interviews, planning, like just accountability. It was just like so tiring mentally because of all of that stuff. So it's always fun to be able to do sculpting just for fun. 30 seconds, 21 seconds. Yeah, I got it. I'm paying attention. I'm not missing it this time. There we go. We have 101 entries. So you guys have a 1% chance roughly of winning this, which is not bad, right? Better than the lottery. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the winner for our third giveaway today is Veronic. Veronic, congratulations, my friend. You just won a Marmoset Toolbag 5 1-year subscription. So you're gonna be able to learn, use, and like just maximize your presentation, texturing, and baking here. So there you go, Veronic. Congratulations for winning this, my friend. If you're here on YouTube or in the Twitch, let us know. Congratulations. I will be reaching out to you later today after the stream is done, so that I can give you your key, okay? Now, let me check my phone real quick, because usually at this time I'm start getting like a bunch of different like WhatsApps and things like that. It's like, oh, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Let me check that I'm... Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second, 1 second. You're checking if we don't have any important messages. Doesn't feel like it. Okay, things like working. Cool. Let's see. Awesome. Yeah, we don't have any more giveaways, man. We just finished the last giveaway. Congratulations to the winners. Yeah, we just give away 1 free course and we give away 2 Marmoset licenses. We don't do giveaways very often. We usually do giveaways when we launch a new course. But this time, thanks to our friends here at Marmoset, they were kind enough to give us a couple of keys, so that's why we were able to do this. But stay tuned, man. Stay tuned, because maybe we'll get more giveaways soon here on the channel, okay? 1 more course? No, my friend, no. Then how can we keep this project going if we just give everything for free, man? We'll give more. We'll have more giveaways soon. I promise. But not for today. Today, you can ask more questions, and we're gonna continue working here on the Thor character. Yeah, I think the helmet's in a good position now. Again, I'm not sure if those section lines we're gonna do with textures, or if I want to separate them into other meshes to give a little bit more depth. That might be a good idea, actually. Yeah, let's try that. I mean, we could just like mask this, to be honest. Let's try. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure how to handle this. Do you use Geometry HD? No, I don't usually use Geometry HD. That's usually if you're going to be doing displacements, like very heavy displacements, and you want to capture a lot of little like high frequency detail. I know some people use that to generate like the bomb map or the displacement map. I don't do it too often. I don't think I've ever used it. Like, I know where it is and I know how to use it, but I don't think I've ever used it in a project. Okay. I think a little pass on the hair might not be a bad idea. So let's Dynamesh here a little bit. Dynamesh a little bit higher. So the hair is gonna be pretty straight. She's got a pretty straight hair. So I'm just gonna be doing this sort of like Goldilocks falling down. Now the cool thing is she's got the helmet, so that's gonna save us a lot of time. Because one of the tricky things about hair is how it interacts with the scalp of the character. The fact that all of the hair is coming from here, it's That's a good way to save a little bit of time. Eventually, these are going to be hair cards. I have a video about that, John Daime, if you want to check it out. We use things like booleans, we use things like trim dynamic, hard polish. Like it requires a little bit of patience. I personally don't do a lot of like hard surface sculpting. If I'm gonna be doing again something hard surface, I normally just go into Maya and do it like traditional poly modeling. But there are some like very cool and powerful tools here inside of ZBrush to be able to do that. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Yeah. How do I increase the subdivision of one part? Like the head has more detail than the body, but I'm crossing AD. Well, just separate the head. Can you separate the head into a different subtool? Like right here, for instance, this head that I have here for the character, it's just this part. So I can really subdivide that if I need to, without worrying about like breaking or pushing my topology too high. So that's one way to do it. If you can separate the hair or the head, sorry, that's what I would probably do. Now here on the center, this is a trick that I learned from a guy at Riot, back in the day. You always want to break symmetry on the center. So especially with hair, you don't want the center hair to be exactly the same. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm creating some locks of hair, but the center line is going to be asymmetrical. Very important for this to be asymmetrical, because this is the part that we notice the most. On the sides, it's fine. You can keep symmetry on, and it's going to save you a little bit of time. But on the center line, you probably want to keep things a little bit asymmetrical. Yeah, the music just stopped. Let me go there real quick. That's when the music stops. That's sort of like my tell that we're halfway or almost halfway through the stream. We got 1 more hour, guys. So make sure to ask your questions. There we go. My question is here, in India, I go to Institution of Advanced Effects course because I think I'm into FX, but I also want to learn the 3D pipeline. Is that a wrong thing to do? No, it's not a wrong thing to want to learn a lot of stuff, but you gotta understand that most of the people out there who are working in the industry, they're specialized. We talked about this earlier in the stream. If you're gonna be working on big studios, you probably want to specialize because that's how the positions are gonna be opening. But if you want to do your own stuff, if you're gonna do indie things or things that are gonna be more like a small size, then being a generalist might be a better idea because you're gonna be able to do more stuff, right? Like you're gonna be more valuable in a small team because you know a lot of the skills rather than just like specializing in one single thing. So it really depends on what kind of like focus you want to do. Again, this is just a sketch of the hair. It's not going to be the final hair. Just want to get something like interesting. We can even use something like a snake hook here. And then a couple of like crazy hairs flowing forward. There we go. Then we can add like a small one right here. Right, these are just gonna be there to break the silhouette a little bit, especially when seen from a specific angle. We might remove them later. It's just sort of like a placeholder thing. Actually, that one feels a little bit too weird. I just didn't notice you was there from long ago. There you go. Now, yeah, Wolfgard got here from the very beginning, man. What's up, Dark Cult? How do you focus on the project? I have many hours of time, but having a hard time on focusing and rather play some games before going back to it. Oh, that's very easy, man. If you're not focusing on a project, that means that you don't want it bad enough. I'm sorry that I'm being honest, and I'm gonna go full screen here, but if you have a lot of time and you are like, oh, I have 3 hours, let me play some games instead of like doing ZBrush or Maya or learning about something, that just means that you want to play games more than you want to do 3D, and that's fine. But you just gotta be honest with yourself, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have enough time in the day to practice 3D. It's like, okay, give me your schedule. What are you doing? And then there's a lot of wasted time on socials or whatever. It's like, hey, you really want to do 3D or not? Because if you really wanted to do 3D, then you would be doing 3D. If you don't want to do 3D and you want to do other things more, well, that's how you're using your time. Yeah, I'm not trying to be mean, just trying to be very realistic. It's the same like as people who say, oh, I wanna read a book, or I wanna learn a new craft or whatever, and then they have the time but they don't do it. Then that means that they probably don't want to do it as much as they say they want to do it, which again is fine, but just be honest. If you are gonna do it, just set up the time and be like, okay, I'm gonna work for the next hour. I'm just gonna do 1 hour on 3D. I'm just gonna work on this specific skill or on this specific like technique or whatever, and do 1 hour. If after 1 hour you want to continue, awesome, you keep going. And if not, if you want to stop and play games, that's also fine, because I understand like people have jobs and we all have a life, right? And we're trying to survive this freaking world. It's okay to relax sometime. But if you say you really want to do something and then you don't do it, that to me is like, hey, then doesn't look like you really want to do it as much as you say you do, because there's someone out there that will do it, and they will try to find more and more time to be able to do it. Okay. Do you have any advice on creating original characters? I get the references for the character, but can't decide how to proceed for it. It's like writer's block. I strongly, like if you're going to be creating your own characters from scratch, like you're going to be creating the story and everything, I strongly recommend you check the masterclass series that Brandon Sanderson is uploading to YouTube now. It's his lecture series on how he writes books, and he has a whole like 2 or 3 videos about characters. Being able to come up and construct or build your character is a very good first way to then find the character, because character it's more about the visuals. Yes, the visuals are important, but how those visuals communicate a specific characteristic of that character is what makes a character, I would say. Because if you like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example here. Like if we take a look at Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, right? We all think like, oh, Cloud is so cool, right? Like I wanna make a character that's as original and as cool as Cloud. But we have so much baggage, right? So much like mental baggage about who Cloud is, that it doesn't matter. Like rather, we know so much about this character and the things about him in the game and things like that, we understand why he's cool, right? It's not just because of the visuals. It's just like if I showed you, like if there was no information about Cloud in the world, right? And I show you an image of this character, you'll be like, oh, that's too edgy, or it's too like exaggerated. Like, I don't know, it looks a little bit too over the top, right? But it doesn't look that way now because of all of the information that we know about the character, the story, the lore, the games, everything, right? And the same happens with every single character. So a lot of the times, it's not only the visuals that make a character appealing, it's everything that comes with it. Again, the story, the game, the gameplay, all that kind of stuff. So if you are going to be building your own character, focus on understanding who that character is. Don't make a character just because he looks cool, right? Like try to tell a story with that character. And if you do that, you should be able to find something that's a little bit more appealing than just, again, like any traditional like anime swordsman, as we say now. Okay? Let's see. Yeah, like Michael Myers' silhouette, when you see it, it's just like a normal guy with a knife, but his story makes a huge package. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and of course, once you make a character and the design is successful and people resonate with the character, then you start building a story through it, and it resonates even more, and it's sort of like a snowball that just keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? So there's a very interesting thing about here on one comment. It says, I don't have the confidence in my proficient stage. What to do there? Like, as an artist, like what to do when you don't feel you're confident enough? That's a tough spot, man. That's a tough spot, and I'm gonna be very honest here. It's a tough spot because we don't live in a fairy tale. We don't live in a Marvel movie or in a video game, okay? Where you're suddenly gonna find an item laying around and it's gonna give you the experience points that you need to level up and go to the next level. You're not gonna find a mentor like Obi-Wan or like I don't know, any of this like characters from literature that's gonna be like, oh, I believe in you, I trust in you, you're gonna be able to do that, keep pushing forward. Like, that's not how it happens in real life. You need to find the tools that are gonna be useful to you, okay? So we all have ways to find those tools and keep ourselves going. I'm gonna share something with you. Like it was Wednesday, I think, where I was working late here in the studio, and I started having a little bit of a panic attack. Well, not a panic attack, but I started getting very stressed and very anxious because I was doing something, it was not working. It was like, oh man, I suck. I can't believe this is not working. It should be working at this point. And I started getting in this sort of like a spiral thought, right? And I have an exercise that I do with myself. It might help you. The exercise that I do is I literally imagine that I have another version of me, another ape here. And I talk to it, right? It's like talking to myself, but like visualizing that I'm right here. It's like, hey man, like this is not working. It's like, okay, it's not working right now, but and I try to make that version of Abe, right? Like a very sort of like kind version of myself. Like what are the words that I need to hear right now? And I tell myself those words like, hey, don't worry, maybe you need to get a little bit of rest. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? You're doing great. Like you don't suck as an artist. You're fine. It's just like this is proving a little bit more challenging, but don't worry. Let's figure out. Let's go back to step one. What would you do here? But imagine I needed someone external to do that for me every time I'll get into a creative block, into a situation. It would just be impossible, right? Like it would take too much time and money if I had like a therapist or something like that. So that's why you need to develop those kinds of skills. And again, if that one in particular helps you, go for it. But you need to develop those types of skills that can ensure that you keep going. That's it. Life is tough, man. Learning is tough. Art is tough. But you can ask this to any one of your friends in any other career, medics, lawyers, architects, everything. And you're going to realize that doesn't matter what path in life you take, you're going to be facing the exact same challenges. So yeah, as World Girl is saying, you need to be your first own cheerleader. I had a talk with another student yesterday. He was like, again, feeling underwhelmed, and he was trying to be inspired and feel motivated. And I gave him a very similar speech, like, hey man, like I cannot be there for you all the time. So you need to find the tools and the activities or the words or whatever, like your way to sort of like push through this kind of elements, right? So and I help him out, and at the end he said something that actually got me a little bit angry. He's like, oh, thank you, Abe, I'm gonna make you proud. I was like, no dude, no. Like, I don't want you to make me proud. I don't want you to make your parents proud or your friends proud or the industry proud. You need to make yourself proud. Like, you're doing this, we're doing 3D, we're doing art because we enjoy it. We want to create, we want to tell a story, right? Like, we want to share this. And of course, it's great if others are proud. But the first thing or the first person that should be proud about the hard work and all of the improvements that you're doing is yourself. If you're not happy, if you're not proud, if you're not excited or engaged with this thing that we're doing, then why are you even doing it, right? Like, just pick something else. Pick something that will bring you that fulfillment and that enjoyment. Because it's not about, we're not doing this to please others. We're not doing this to hear what others have to say about this. You should be doing this for yourself first. And then if, as a bonus, people resonate with that kind of stuff and they're happy with what you're doing, that's awesome. But it's because of you. It's because of you or of what you want to do. You need to do this to feel proud about your own work, your own fulfillment. Okay? And I know that gets a little bit too real, but it's important that you guys understand that's the first thing that you should do it. There's a very famous quote about from Gary Vee, right? And I love it. He's like, we're not in high school anymore. This is not a popularity contest. You shouldn't be looking for approval from others. Like, this is about yourself, your own life, how you take control of this thing, okay? Wolver says, my grandpa used to say, how can anyone else be proud for your achievements? They're happy for you, but the only one that should be proud about your stuff is you. Exactly. That's it. Exactly. And Casey, that's a great quote. I've gotten questions about the channel. Like, for instance, I'm always thankful because of your support, guys. We're already very close to 50K. But I told David from the very first day we started this, like, I'm not doing this for the likes. I'm not doing this for popularity. And I told him, if at any point I start like spitting stupid stuff, please, like, really, like, put me in my place, because I'm not doing this to like be famous or look for external validation or anything like that. I'm doing this because I love 3D, I love teaching about it, and I hope people find like good stuff about it. So if I can help even a few people out there, I'm more than happy. And you should be looking for that as well, my friends. Like this journey, and I'm not talking about just art, life in general, is about you being happy. Look for what makes you happy. Yes, of course, look for something that's going to give you your sustenance as a job. Look for something that has like projection towards the future, right? But understand that you should be doing this for yourself. Motivational speaker next year. Right. Now, inspiration is fine. Inspiration, motivation, those are great feelings, and they can really help. Discipline is, I would say, even more important. There's going to be days where you're not going to feel like it. There's going to be days where you just don't want to create or do anything. On those days, sometimes you just got to go full auto, full autopilot, and just like go through the motions and finish stuff. Here's another technique that I like to do, my friends, and hopefully, again, this helps some of you. I've mentioned this before, the Pomodoro technique, but more than the Pomodoro technique, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, like so many things to do, I just say, okay, what's the next thing? Just take the next step. What's the next thing that I need to do? I'm going to give you a perfect example, and I think this was Wednesday. So it was 5 p.m. on Wednesday, and I had a meeting. I had a mentorship. So 5 to 6, mentorship. And then 6 p.m., I had to go and run some errands. And then I came back. And then 7 to 8, I had to record the video for the next day. And then 8 to 9, I had to finish a rig that we're doing for the studio. And then 9 to 10, I had to answer some emails. And then 10 to 11, I had to do some stuff on the house. So at 5, I already was feeling overwhelmed about all of the things that I had to do for the rest of the day. And I was already feeling tired. And it's like, just autopilot this shit. Let's just go for the next stuff. Do your best for each of those elements, things right there. And then just keep going, keep going, keep going. And then at the end of the day, I think it was like 10:30 or something like that. I was like, okay, I'm actually finished. Or I finished a little bit earlier. So I played a little bit of Monster Hunter to just like relax. And that's how you do it. Sometimes there's days like that. And other days they're very good. And you feel very motivated and very inspired to do stuff. But you got to understand that not every single day is going to be a perfect day. So you need to learn that's my after all of this speech, sorry about the whole like speech, but after all of this speech, one of the things that you need to learn is you need to learn what works best for you on the tough days, because everyone can work amazingly on the great days, right? But you need to learn what works for you, what kind of like strategies, what kind of tools, what kind of like processes or workflows work for you on the bad days. Because if you can figure that out, then you're going to be able to create and to do stuff even on the worst of your days. Okay? So yeah, that's pretty much it on that little motivational speak right there. Oh, Satlan. That's a great question, man. Satlan is asking, what do you do if you're interested in all fields on 3D? I can't pick. I'm always learning and doing in all fields and got tired. I'm not super pro in everything, but just good or proficient. Well, from a hobby perspective, like if you're doing 3D as a hobby perspective, as just something that you like doing, I would say keep learning stuff, because you're not like your livelihood or your like income or anything is not going to depend on that. If your income is going to depend on that, if you want to do this for a living, then you need to understand and you need to be very honest with yourself and be like, I hate the fact that I'm not going to be able to do everything in 3D because I love everything about 3D, but I'm going to accept that. And I'm just going to focus on, and I mentioned this on the last short, what I'm good at, because it's going to give you the most sort of like advantage, and what you like. So pick something that you feel you're good at and pick something that you like. And if you find that, you're gonna be already in a good like a path to being successful, right? But you gotta understand, yeah, like we're not gonna be able to be like great at everything. That's just not how the world works. We are gonna have to find specific things that we're gonna be focusing on. For instance, I've always really liked BFX, and that's the one thing that I've always been like, I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to learn it. I would love to do it. Like I would love to learn how they do the BFX for like games like League of Legends, right? Like this very like fancy looking stylized like magic bursts and missiles and things like that. It's like, hey, that's so much time commitment to learn that. And I understand, because I've done the same amount of time commitment for other things, right? That I know that, hey, I'm gonna have to leave that to someone else. So at that point, I recommend, as I've mentioned before, collaborations. Find someone's like, hey dude, I did this character and I'm looking for someone who could do the BFX for it, and we could maybe both share it on our portfolios. as a portfolio piece, right? Remember, this is a team effort, guys. Yes, you can be a solo dev, you can do your own game. There's a lot of people who have done indie games, but take a look at one of the best indie games out there, right? And you're gonna see that the quality, in terms of like artistic quality, is of course not going to be anywhere near close to some of the best games that we see out there, right? So it's important that you understand that. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. And this was a very famous quote, and I've actually shared this with my wife because she expressed something very similar about her own like career path. It's like, oh, I want to do all of this. She's a psychologist major. Well, actually, she has a PhD in psychology. So she's like, oh, I want to do all of these things in psychology. It's like I told her, hey, you can do whatever you want, but you can't do everything. So you have to pick. Right? Doctors they pick a specialty. They cannot be a doctor for everything. You can be a generalist, but then you're not going to be able to go as deep as you might want in specific areas. So yeah, it sucks, but that's the reality of the world. We need to pick specific areas, and we need to trust others. There we go. Nitropical says, hi, I have a question. How to know when your piece is ready to be in a portfolio? How to know is it time to stop working on details and presenting? That's a great question. It's actually a great freaking question. I'm gonna give you one answer. You want the fancy answer, or do you want the simple answer, or do you want the complex answer? I'm gonna give you both. Here, I'm gonna use a little graph, and this little graph actually I'm stealing it from rendering. So if you've ever done like rendering, you've seen this graph before. So samples, right? There's samples are like the things that we do to analyze the scene or analyze our scene, and the more samples you have, the cleaner your scene is gonna be. And at first, or rather samples, they always have this sort of like quadratic, like exponential growth. So at first, every single sample that you increase is going to really increase the quality of your work, right? So jumping from 1 to 3 to 4, well, in this case, like 100, 200, 300, 400 samples, it's going to really push the amount of like quality in your render. But there's going to be a point right around here where no matter how much you push, the gain you're going to get is going to be very minimal, very, very minimal. So if you get to that point, Nitropical, if you get to a point where you're spending, let's say, 3 hours on a piece, 3 more hours, and you realize, you know what, like the difference between 3 hours ago and today, or like 3 hours after the fact, is very little, that's the point to stop. It's like, at this point, with this particular project, the more time I invest, I'm not really going to be getting that return in quality. So that's a good point to be like, yeah, that's it. Now, if it's incomplete, right? Like, for instance, this character. Like, I know maybe right now we've been working for 3 hours, and the difference, we can actually compare the difference. Let's take a quick look here. So this is what we've done so far. And this is how we started, right? So like before and after. So it might not seem like we've done a lot of stuff, right? We fixed this one, we did a little bit of the hair, we fixed the helmet, we did the belly here, we did the belt. So it might not seem like we did a lot in like 2 or 3 hours, but still not finished. We can all agree this is still not finished. So even though the incremental gains are slow, it's part of the process. But if it comes to a point where you're already in texturing or you're already in sculpting and you're just like pushing points around and you feel like you're not really doing anything, well, that's again like a telltale sign. It's like, hey, this is probably a good point to stop the project, to call it quits, and just like go to the next one. Okay. Anna says, honestly, this is so real. Me and my buddy in my second year's degree in design understood all the 3D work we do, our generalist work, and not industry standard with the pipeline. Okay. If you're interested in 3D, do you need Photoshop? From Minato, because I've seen certain Photoshop renders, but I don't understand. Yes, you do need Photoshop. You need Photoshop because you need any imaging editing software. Not only because Photoshop is going to help you like fix your normal maps or adjust textures or present your work, modify like certain things. It's just like a very sort of like general tool that everyone should have. So yeah, Photoshop definitely valuable. I was getting some errors saying no bound for geometry. What do? I don't think I've encountered that particular error. Did you freeze transformations, delete history, all that kind of stuff, C-Deck? Did you assign a Lambert material? Did you set your project? Is the scale of your object like a normal scale, or is it too big? Is it too small? Those kind of things can mess things up. Should have a contest where we team up with someone else and collab on a project. That would be interesting. That could be interesting. Empress Tiramisu. Hey, Eve, I was curious about how you went about jumping into anatomy. I've been getting some guidance from amazing people in your Discord. Still some cold feet. Just do it, man. Just jump into it. Try to... I think one of the best things about anatomy is understanding that everything can be simplified into a very like basic form. A cylinder, a cube, a sphere, things like that. And when you understand the properties of muscle, which is what we cover on the anatomy course, you will be able to see those shapes on the muscles themselves, on the bicep, the tricep, the legs, the abdomen, and understand those forms and those shapes so that you can then create all of the muscles. It's like building a house, right? Like if you build the foundations of the house, then building everything else should be a lot easier than if you just try to go to the final finishes before having like the proper columns and foundations, right? So it's about, again, understanding what makes up the forms of the body. Okay, here we're using, someone was asking about like high poly like processes. Well, this is exactly what we're doing. I'm just using trim dynamic to sharpen the corners here. This one I'll definitely be going to Maya and doing a retopology to have like a really clean loops. And that retopology could potentially be the final version of the asset. Like you don't have to do several rounds of retopology. Sometimes you do. In this particular case, since it's an object that's not going to be deforming, really. Well, I'm not sure. They might deform it actually. Like if they want to add a little bit of expression to the eyes, there might be a little bit of deformation here. Many people say that graphic designer or 3Ders do not need drawing skills. What do you think? I mean, that's a great question, Nyong. I can never pronounce that last name. Sorry. I mean, technically you don't need it, but if you have it, you have a bonus, like a very big bonus. Okay. Like it's one of those things that if you can invest a little bit of time into learning just the basics, you don't need to be a master at drawing, but just understanding things like perspective, visual communication, rendering, shadows, lights, material description. If you can do a little bit of that, it can really help you out. The hell? Oh. It's a valuable skill to have. There we go. Control S. Yeah, we need to save. I mean, I saved not too long ago, but yeah, let's save again. There we go. The hell is that? Nicole says, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Me puedes ayudar a continuar? Me he concentrado en aprender anatomía porque no me cuesta hacer la ropa y accesorios. Por eso creo que he dejado medias algunos proyectos. If you're struggling, I'm going to answer in English so that everyone can benefit from this, Nicole. Hopefully that's okay. If you're struggling with the cloth, one amazing software is Marble Designer. Marble Designer is really good for cloth. And that's why when I'm doing characters or when I'm doing I'm teaching anatomy classes, I always recommend people to do characters that have very little clothing or very little props so they can focus on just the anatomy. Because yeah, it's a different thing to do anatomy than it is to do like props and armor and things like that. So I'll probably focus on a character that doesn't have too many of those things. I've done things like gladiators, the Oni character, monks, barbarians, like all of these characters with very little props can be a good way to learn the basics. Is the Spanish language easy? Well, I mean, I'm biased because that's my first language, but I've heard that it's not that hard. It does have a lot of rules that you need to sort of follow. But I learned German. For instance, in German, one thing that always freaked me out was the fact that there's three genders, right? So it's he, she, and then thing. Der, die, and das, right? If I'm not mistaken. So you had to learn the gender for every single thing in the world. Like objects have genders as well. Like there's some objects that are going to have a specific gender. In Spanish, we have el and la, which is like female and male. But and in English, I don't think there is. It's just the. Yeah, it's just the this or the that. But yeah, in German, it's there, the and das. And then if you have a different gender, I think you also use verbs a little bit. No, not verbs, the articles. The articles were a little bit different. There we go. Okay, let's just I'm using the paintbrush here just to sharpen the edge there a little bit. I'm probably gonna be splitting that, to be honest. Like I think I'm gonna do like sections of the helmet, because that could also work for like an animation where, I don't know, she goes like full goth mode or something, and the helm just like splits from her head and she just goes like full berserker or whatever. Like I think that could work nicely. But yeah, as you can see, guys, here is just a little bit of train dynamic, polish, just cleaning up all of these elements. There we go. There we go. Do you have a course for the workflow include Marble Designer with Maya? I include a little bit of that. I think, on the bonus chapter on the Marvelous course. So this Marvelous course is all about Marvelous, but we do have one here. Bonus chapter. No, render and presentation here. So we have final exports, simulation. So I show you how to export like a simulation to another software. Yeah, I think we cover a little bit of that, a little bit of the process. But this is for high poly. This is not for games, so the resolution is quite high. You will need to do bakes and all that stuff if you want to do this for game for game character. But yeah, we do cover a little bit of that in the final chapters of the Marvelous course. Let me fill this with the material here. Color color fill object. Oh, I really like how this is looking. I really like the process on this character, if I may say so myself. Yeah, I think we're in a good position, guys. Got a little bit more time. My friend won the Marbles Designer course from Abe and she loves it. Ah, there you go. Yeah, it has a little bit of Blender at the end as well, where we export the thing. Let's push this up. See, like this piece, I'll definitely just do it in Maya. It would be way easier to just draw the proper loops and topology to do it in Maya. This little brooch thingy, I kind of want to make it. It's gonna be on the front. Let's make something interesting here. Here, I'll show you something cool. So let's dynamesh this with a high resolution. Really high resolution. There we go. And then we're gonna use the swirl brush. This one's very aggressive, the spiral brush. This one's very aggressive, but it creates some like interesting things. There we go, look at that. So just by using that little swirl brush right there, we can create something that looks a lot more interesting than just like a basic I don't know, like hook or whatever, right? Let's see. Hi Eve, can you please give a hint on creating a clean polygroup from a mask? I've done that. I've shown that before, but yeah, I can do that real quick. Here. So if you have a mask, let's make a polymesh 3D. Any mask. Of course, the more resolution you have, the better, right? Because the mask is going to be a lot cleaner. But let's say we have this like shape right here. So we have this shape right here, and we want to create a polygroup from a mask. The only thing that you need to do is press Ctrl W. And to do that, and once you do that, you get that like shape right there. Now, if you want to clean that, one thing that we can do is we can go to the polygroups option or to deformation and use this polish by groups. And as you can see, what that will do is it will push the borders so that all of that sort of like jaggedy edge that we had, it's now gone. So you're gonna have a way softer like mask. Once you have that, for instance, one of the things that we can do is we could just like delete the other thing, delete hidden, and there we go. So this is now a new mesh, and you can do whatever you want. You can do dynamic subdivision, you can give this thickness, right? Convert this into Dynamesh, poly, like, yeah, just extract. We've been using that quite a bit for this particular character, for these elements. So yeah. Okay, now let's work on this thing right here. Let's increase the resolution even more. Well, at this point, as you can see, the resolution's having an issue. Like we're like way too low in resolution. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stop using Dynamesh and just subdivide, and just decorate this a little bit more. What are the common technical standards for a 3D artist, intern, or recent graduate to land job into companies that fit the game industry? We've covered that plenty of times on Portfolio Review, my friend. I strongly recommend that you check on here on the channel. We have a lot of videos about portfolio reviews, and I always mention what kind of stuff people are looking for. And see, that's very interesting. If you guys saw, we were looking for an animator this week, and I posted a notice there on the Discord channel. And one thing that I noticed, because I got like 30 or 40 submissions in just a couple of days, and one thing that I noticed was the fact that there's a lot of people that are really good, that have really strong portfolios, and there's a lot of people that are very delusional. Like they think they have the skills, and then I see the portfolios is like, this is not enough, man. Like not even for a junior level. This is a very low quality compared to what the industry might be expecting. And even for a small project like the one that I was posting, it's like an indie project for the museum. Like there's a certain standard, right? Like very basic things that people should at least have. And unfortunately, sometimes like I was not seeing that on some of the portfolios. So check portfolio review, because in portfolio we talk plenty of times about that. Maybe not the latest ones, but if you go to last year portfolio review, when we were still allowing people with very like a minimal experience to submit, you can see when I mentioned like, hey, like you're just beginning your journey. So this is a little bit away from being able to be needed at a production, right? Doesn't mean that you can't get in or you can get a job or something, but it's just way more complicated at that point, because there's people out there that have way more skills than that, right? Awesome, Lord Tellum. See you next time. Huge Cookie, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. That's really weird, man. A war bonnet, Sidek. Send a message on the Discord channel, Sidek, on the help room, and send some screenshots of the error that you're getting, and tag me so that I can see it and maybe like help you troubleshoot, because I'm not sure I've faced that like a problem before. I'm gonna go here to C plugin. I'm gonna go to Scale Master. I'm gonna click this button. This is important. I'm gonna say ZBrush Scale Unify. It's gonna do some like interesting math behind the whole thing, and it's just gonna adapt everything so that it works with the proper scale here within ZBrush, because we were working either with a very small size or with a very big one for some reason, and I was struggling with getting the proper like resolution that I want. So for instance, now if I do Dynamesh at 4K, I should be able. No, it's still too little. That's very weird. That's very weird. Anyway, let's just subdivide this again and keep adding some detail. We're gonna be finishing the stream very shortly, guys. So if you have any more questions, this is the moment to ask them, because we're probably gonna be closing in the next couple of minutes. I need to go and finish a couple of things here in the studio. Oh, my light is dying again. Hello, I often have a problem with ZBrush. I often sculpt swords, but when I create vertical cracks, they have good quality, but horizontally they're pixelated. Do you have a solution? Yes. For that kind of thing, you might want to stick with Dynamesh and just really push your subdivision level high. That means that your resolution, you don't have a uniform resolution on your elements. You might also want to go into Maya and add more edge loops so that things are a little bit more uniform. But yeah, that's the usual problem. Like if you're trying to add detail and the detail looks too pixelated, that's because the resolution is not uniform. You want like a grid-like structure for your resolution to get the best or like possible result. I'm doing like, I don't know, like clouds or something on this thing. Please eat something first. I had my breakfast, so I'm fine. I'm fine. But yeah, I'm gonna have to eat soon. I'll go for lunch. Are you going to make a portfolio review this month? Yes, we do portfolio reviews, remember, at the end of the month. So the announcement on the Discord channel is gonna appear on that, closer to that time. You need to be on the lookout so that you can submit quickly for that. When Dynamesh does that, just scale the subtool up and then redo the Dynamesh, and that's more risk, so then scale it back down. But then if I do another Dynamesh, it's gonna go back to the original subdivision, right, Casey? Like I understand what you mean. Like we could just scale this like really, really high. Dynamesh. Dynamesh, it gives me all the resolution that I need, and then I just scale it back to the position or the density that I needed, like that. But if I Dynamesh again, it's gonna go back to like a low subdivision. So at that point, I can't Dynamesh anymore, which is fine. I mean, that could definitely work. There we go. And now that we have this like little like pendant or whatever, I'm gonna clean that even more. Like, it's just like a very basic construction so far. But now that we have that, we can go again to the cloth here, and that's sort of like the tension point, right? Coming from that specific area, so it really looks like that thing is the one holding this little like cloth piece together. There we go. Have to Dynamesh scaling up again. Yeah, exactly. Can I get the Discord server invite? The one in the description say it's invalid. That's very weird. I'm gonna check that because that's the second time we get that message, and I usually just copy it. But yeah, let me get it to you. 1 second. Can I copy that? No. Just scale. Yeah, we could just scale all of the subtools. That's another option. But I wanted to keep things uniform. There we go. So that's it, guys. I think this is gonna be it. We're gonna call it for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Hopefully, we got some cool things. We talked. It was a deep stream today. We had a lot of like therapy and sort of like mental and artist help, right? So. Yeah, that's it, guys. I know, Huge Cookie, don't worry. The stream is going to be available soon. As you guys know, I need to go back and do a little bit of editing, but we're going to be having more information, more shorts, more live streams, more videos here on the channel. So if this is the first time you're watching us, just make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, help us with a like, with a share. Don't forget to join our Discord channel. We're going to have more giveaways in the future, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it, my friends. Thank you, David, for being here. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great weekend. Do a little bit of 3D, get some rest, relax as well. But don't forget, always learning, always improving. I'll see you back on the next time, my friends. Bye-bye.